Hello everybody and welcome back to another Diary of Wimpy Kid video. Today we're reading Diary of Wimpy Kid Shipped Away, part 2 of the Dark Web trilogy. Make sure to go watch the first Dark Web video, I'll link it in the description. And also, please subscribe and help me reach 500 subscribers. We just hit 300 subscribers like a couple days ago, so I'd really appreciate if you help me reach my goal of 500 by June, and just my all-time goal of 1,000. Subscribing's free, just helps me a lot, and if you like Wimpy Kid, I upload like 3 Wimpy Kid videos a week, so yeah. Anyway, let's get straight into it. Diary of Wimpy Kid, Dark Web, Part 2, Shipped Away. Maybe about 30, I'll do a quick recap. Greg discovers the Dark Web and he starts selling people to this guy named James. And then he says, like, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore because he asked somebody to kidnap Holly. And he's like, oh, no, this is wrong. But then the garbage guy thinks Holly's, because she was in the garbage bag. And so she just gets taken away and probably, like, crushed and dies or something. But that's not really relevant. So, yeah, he's just like, hey, James, I don't want to sell you people anymore. And James is like, all right, meet me in this sketchy spot. So then, yeah, Greg gets kidnapped in a van. So, yeah, anyway, let's read. Maybe about 30 to 40 minutes after I was thrown into a van by James, probably not his real name, we arrived at an abandoned building. After James got out and opened the doors, I tried to make my escape, but he tased me. Then he said, please don't make this hard. I don't want to be tased again, so I just did as he has said. We walked inside of the building and then into a room, and he told me to sit down. He pulled out his phone and called someone, saying, he's here. After James hung up, it got really quiet. I asked him what the phone call was and about, and he said that he had to call his boss. And I asked him what this place was, and he was going what his boss was gonna do to me, and he said he didn't know. I was really confused on why he would do this to me because I trusted him. So I asked him why he kidnapped me. All he said was this: if you don't shut up, I'm gonna tase you again, or worse. I decided to keep my mouth shut. I guess that was a good idea because his boss walks in. I couldn't believe who it was. Hey, Greg, it was Albert Sandy. How and why? I must have been dreaming, so I told James to tase me again, and he did. This wasn't a dream. I asked Albert where he was, and he said it was this HQ. Then he asked me if I wanted a tour of the place. This isn't Willy Wonka's chocolate factory, but what else was I supposed to say? So he led me through the building. One of the rooms of the tour that Albert showed us is where he would ship yogurt and drugs, but mostly yogurt. Strange part was that Fragley was there. Even Manny was there. Here's my organ harvesting room. Help, Bubby. And then Greg just looks so ecstatic. He just looks so... he's just happy. All this seemed pretty cool and all, but I wanted to know how this all started. I asked him, so he got to the point. He made this place his headquarters back when middle school started, and he got into all this dark web stuff. Then he bought James as a slave to help him with all his dirty work. After a few years, his service of selling yogurt and organs took off, and he wanted new people to work for him. He didn't want to use his money on buying people, so he decided to use someone from school. For some reason, he thought I would be the perfect person who would do stuff like this. So he brought it up to me because he knew that I'd be curious. So he decided to do tests on me. He hacked into my computer, so whenever I paid for someone to do something for me, it would be James. So finally, after a while of seeing what I'd do, he asked me if I wanted to work for him, and I gave him my answer. I'm sorry, but no. Okay, Greg isn't the smartest lad for that. I think that he's going to get shot. He looked kind of confused for a second, then he laughed, and he said that wasn't a good choice. Well, what do you know? I was right. He then snapped his fingers, and James started to walk towards me. This obviously didn't look good, so I made a run for it. I guess it was good that I got a tour of that place because I knew how to get around. From looking back, he didn't look like he was in a hurry, so I guess that could buy me some time. After running down a few corridors, I ran into a room and hid behind the table. But apparently, it didn't take that long to find me. I can see you, Greg. He didn't have a little old taser this time. He had a gun. I wasn't planning on dying this soon, so I told him I had an idea where nothing bad could happen. I was lucky because he actually put his gun out of my face and told me to make it quick. So I told him that if we both escaped, then we don't have to hear from Albert ever again. And he said he liked that idea. But I asked him why he didn't escape in the first place. James said he couldn't escape because Albert installed a shock collar on his ankle, so whenever James doesn't do his bidding, he'll shock him. So I grabbed the hammer that was on the table and tried to bash at it, and it actually came off. I'm sorry, what? James just could have done that the whole time. He's not very smart, is he? He was ticked off, though, because he thought I was going to snap off his ankle. After all that, we started to get the heck out of there. James said there was an exit a few turns from running, but as we were doing that, we accidentally ran into Albert Sandy. He asked us where he was going. Believe it or not, James said, gotta get out of my way, you lump, and we beat the tar out of him. Wait, I read that. Okay, sorry. And believe it or not, James said, "Get out of my way, you lump of pork," and beat the tar out of them. Then after pushing through the exit of the building, we hopped into James's van, and we started to drive out of there. He asked him what we were going to do about Albert, and he said that he had control of all this explosive yogurt below the building. Plus, he pressed a button on the remote-looking thingy. And then there's an explosion in the background. Well, James's kill count just increased, I guess. Good for him. To be continued. I'll probably have part 3 up next Wednesday, Friday or something. And because I did not do an episode of Greg Goes to High School this week. So I'll make sure to read that sometime soon. But yeah, make sure to subscribe. And yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.